It, but anyway, we had 5 cars there. Those guys, I call them my fearless 5, because those guys had no idea if we were going to last a month, one race, or whatever. And I still compliment them to this day. They were absolutely the guys that made it all happen and responsible for our success. But we came down to white flag. Back then we did double file restarts all the way to the checker, which we don't do anymore, as you well know. And this is why. Hang on, I'm going to pull over here just a minute. Get out of the way, because if I go any further, the phone's going to cut off.
You're on the air with Stan Lester. Go ahead, Stan. Go ahead and do what you're doing.
Anyway, we had the caution flag. We threw the green flag, or green and white together. All the cars go down to 1 and 2, and they all wreck. Every one of them. They're on top of each other. People are out fighting and cussing and carrying on. I mean, it was just the best. And this is the hilariousness in which we started. And the track owner looked at me. He said, "Oh man," he said, "what you gonna do?" I said, "Man, I don't know. I've never run a race before." So unfortunately, we let them fight for about 5 or 6 minutes there before we get everybody stopped. And I said, "All right, I got an idea." He said, "What is it?" So I went over to the PA. I was having to announce and race direct, and had never done either. And I said, "All right, attention on the racetrack. Attention on the racetrack." And everybody stopped. I said, "The first man to the checker flag takes home the first place prize." And I don't think any cars were running. I think the crews were on the racetrack fighting too. I think the crews pushed the cars to the finish line, and Jamie Nodine ended up winning that race. So that was quite the story. We kept doing what we said we'd do. We took a big hit, of course, that first race with only 5 cars there.
Oh, obviously.
Profit-wise. And not something we needed to do back then.
I'm sure that the round table on that Monday morning was looking around, scratching your head, saying, "Is this a good idea or not? Did we make a mistake?" What kept you guys pressing forward with it?
Well, as you know me, Wesley, well enough to know I don't wait till Monday. Everybody met at my house on Sunday.
Well, there you go.
And I had my neighbor doing video back then, but it wasn't of the races; it was of us, to see if we could, to figure out how we could improve on what we did as officials every week, which obviously that wasn't too hard to improve on. But that's the reason we did our video, was try to make us better. And that's the way we've approached racing from day one, is not so much how we make our racers better, it's how we make us better. Then it just kind of, we did what we said, we paid what we said, we kept our word, everybody found out. The racetrack made a little money because the place was packed with fans there. And I think most of those were probably race teams to see if we actually did what we said we were going to do. And we did. We went to the next race at Riverside Speedway, had 18 cars. Last race of the year was at Oglethorpe Speedway Park and had 51. So it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing.
And was that the night? I'm sorry, Stan. Was that the night that the gentleman at Oglethorpe at Savannah, Georgia, come to you and shook your hand and said, "You have no idea what you've done for the world of motorsports or for dirt track racing"?
That is the same night. That was one of the crew members. He said, "Man, you don't know how much you're affecting things." I said, "I don't understand what you're talking about."
You don't know whether to take that as a positive or a negative, correct? Because it's kind of like that. It's kind of a blunt.
Oh, he meant it in a positive way,
right?
He said, "But you have no idea how much you're influencing the racing industry." I said, "Man, we're just out here trying to help racing. I don't know about the rest of the world. We're just a little bitty series and a little bitty area trying to help a little bitty part. That's all." And that's always kind of the way we've approached it, Wesley. I mean,
Yes,
we don't
sir.
try to run over people. We don't try to take advantage of people. We don't go in and tell racetracks what to do. I mean, and you've heard me tell you this and the rest of the crew this on many occasions. We're there as guests.
That's right.
We need to work with their officials. Their officials come first. We come second.
That's right, and I think that's one of the reasons why I live by the concept of again, and I mean this with no disrespect, Stan, and I'm sure you're going to come in and reiterate on this as well. There are some sanctioning bodies across the country, dirt or asphalt. They come in, they take over. It's their show. It's their way. If they don't like it, they hit the road, or they'll pack up and go. They come in, they do what they do. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you loved it, you loved it. They really don't care. They pack up, they go to the next one. You do not look at things that way.
Oh, no. It's, well, and let me say this. Some of those series, and I understand why they do what they do, because there's certain ways they have to protect their racers, their crews, their investment. Okay, I can appreciate that. Our job, we're a much smaller regional series, and our job is to work with the racetrack. We do care if a racetrack makes money or not. That's important to us. As you know, the golden rule in the office is on Tuesday morning, the race director needs to be on the phone with the racetrack just saying, did you make any money?
That's right. Yep.
I mean, we basically know before we leave, but sometimes when it's a narrow margin or something, but I want to know. I'm not interested with how much money you made. I'm not asking you that. I'm not being nosy. But I want to know, did you make money? Because while it's fresh on our minds, if you didn't, while it's fresher on our minds, the things we did right, the things we did wrong, I want to know what we can do to not do that a second time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I go always make the racetracks money. I mean, if we can't do that, why a racetrack want to have us?
Fast Track has had I'm sorry, Stan, I didn't know you were done. Fast Track has had a big year for 2019. They've got the 50,000 to win World Championship. It'll be broadcasted for the first time on MAV TV, Motorsports Network, somebody that I already do work with, along with Bob Dillner and Speed 51 for the pay-per-view live. You've also got the Ultimate Super Late Model Series. They dropped a bomb Monday morning. Matter of fact, this past Monday morning, $20,059 to win at the Butterball big race that's going to be at Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Kentucky, along with the track that you also do work with at the Gap at Volunteer Speedway for the Scorcher for $10,000 to win coming up in August. 1 weekend alone, 3-day show, 2 tracks, $100,000 purse for super late model racing, not national, Stan Lester, but on a regional, national level. Talk about putting this together with DJ Irvin, and this is going to be, I think, a special event. Weather permitting. My goodness, weather's messing things up again like last year.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with Mother Nature right now. Man, I mean, we took a big hit last year. You lose 34 races. If you average 30 cars a race, you can figure that out. You know, that's $100,000. It's gone. And it did basically the same thing in 16. 16 was that. 17 had a pretty good year. 18 would come back and get our butts kicked again. As far as the weather goes, it's a little hard to stomach sometimes, but you know, we make it through either way. The office staff, we have to tighten up. We have to tighten up our budget, and we make things work. I just wish we could have a great year with weather for a change, because we'll be whining and crying about it being so hot here before too long.
It does not bother me one bit. I would rather deal with 100-degree weather than deal with it being 30 degrees outside.
I mean, you know, and I know sometimes people kind of second guess why we call races as early as we do, but we got people coming from a long ways.
That's right.
It's not VMS. There were people driving 12 hours to get there from Florida and whatnot. And we don't want those people to waste their time and spend $500 or $600 in fuel in their rigs, and we don't want to do it for us either. I mean, we have just as much expense as the racers do, because we take more than one vehicle, of course, and trailers and whatnot.
That's right.
And you don't need to throw the money away either. And when you've had those kind of years, that's what I mean by you just have to tighten your budget up and make better decisions.
And, you know, this is about the history of motorsports for Fast Track Companies International, but in defense of the series, Stan Lester, and I talked with Dave C. about this last weekend as well, we didn't realize it was Easter weekend until we actually realized it was Easter weekend when we saw the makeup date was going to be Easter Sunday. Well, the retrospect was your family, you got family plans, I've got family plans, the drivers have got family plans for Easter. And I mean to say this with no disrespect, but I think it would have been disrespectful to try to race on Easter Sunday. There's things that you do in racing and things that you don't do in racing, and I think that would have been disrespectful to do that on God's crucifixion, if you believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and what that day is about. And it's like the best way Dave C. put in the press release, it would have been bad karma.
Well, Easter is not always in all calendars.
That's right.
It's just not. And I don't know who was looking at what when we did that, but obviously none of us really paid enough attention. There's the reason people don't race on Easter. And I had half a dozen drivers call me and say, look, weather looks a little iffy on Saturday. We may or may not come because we will not be there on Sunday because it's Easter. Even if we come and it rains out on Saturday, then we're not going to stay for the rain day. So mistake on our part, definitely a big mistake on our part. And we apologize for that. We own that mistake, and we'll just try not to do it twice, I can assure you, because we wasted a lot of money in advertising and whatnot. And so did the Speedway. And that's not something any of us need to be doing. But I think it was in the best interest for everybody.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Stan, we're going to take a quick radio timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Ultimate Series and where it has grown from being the Ultimate Super Late Model Series Southeast, from used to be the Southern All-Stars East Division, to what you have grown it into now being a mecca going into almost a decade of racing. Stan Lester joining us with the history of Fast Track Companies International. They've got some big races coming up this weekend. They are going to be, of course, in South Carolina and Georgia, as they have races scheduled at Lawrence County Speedway this Friday night, at the Darlington of Dirt, and then Saturday night they're going to be at an awesome facility with the Swims family, Mickey Swims, all the great people there, Mia Green, great folks at Dixie Speedway in Woodstock, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. That should be a big show, and it's always good to see my great friend, Mr. Johnny Clark. For Fast Track, they will be in action next weekend at Volunteer Speedway with the return of racing since 2012 at Volunteer Speedway for a 3,000 to win national event and the debut of the new 602 Fast Track Future Stars Tour Cup. Stan Lester and I will embellish and talk more about that after our radio timeout. We'll be back with more Finish Line here in just a moment.
This is Finish Line.
Hey, if I lose you,
the Speed 51 Video Network live races, highlights, interviews, features, and more. You want it? The Speed 51 Video Network has it. Just $7.99 per month or $69.99 per year.
You gotta be kidding me! There's total chaos! What a wild finish! Oh my goodness!
Become a member of the Speed 51 Video Network today at speed51.com.
This All About Wraps strives to offer our clients with fast, affordable service with race wraps starting at only $500. From go-karts to national touring teams and everything in between. Late models, modifieds, sprint cars, midgets, asphalt cars, and we'll even decal your helmets. Wraps, design services, and promotions. Everything we offer at All About Wraps. Contact us today to see what we can do for your team. Give us a call, 410-903-3302. Email us at allaboutraps@hotmail.com and visit us on Facebook at All About Wraps.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
The This is Kate Dillon from CrateInsider.com and host of the Racing Insiders podcast.